Don't you keep running away from me? Don't you keep running away from me? Running away from me.
Testing, testing.
All right. Good morning. Thank you for your patience as we got things going here. My name is Juan Carlos Pinedo. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Involvement for Leadership Programs here at SUNY Westchester Community College. This past semester, we've been working with an amazing group of students in a program called Commit to Change. Commit to Change is a 12-week program where students come together, and every week they work on developing skills to help them be better leaders. So for the first few weeks, they work on individual skills, how to communicate better, how to understand your values and ethics. Then we move into assisting them into developing skills on how to work in groups and how to deal with challenges that come up. And then we work with them on developing a vision so that they can move forward a project, preferably something that can help improve the experience of students and the community here at SUNY Westchester Community College. Throughout that experience, they develop bonds, they develop connections, and they work on learning more about themselves. That's really what the program is about. And what I've tried to bring to this program. It's based in the foundations of what's called the social change model. And the social change model is all about, hey, how can we work together as communities to bring about change in the world? And so the foundation of the program is the social change model. But an element that we always try to bring to the program throughout the weeks is helping individuals grow and develop themselves. So as the weeks have progressed, I've seen these individuals grow and learn how to communicate and how to present and how to work on ideas and visions. And so what they're presenting for you today is their final vision, what they think would be a good idea to move forward here at the college. And they work with investors here at the college, people that support them in moving their projects forward. Many of the projects that are student focused here at the college have actually been founded by students. One of them was a hygiene bar that was shifted over to Department of Student Support Services, solar panels outside on the umbrellas where tables are. So there have been a number of different improvements that have been made at the college through this group of students. We offer this program every semester. And it's a highly selective program. So if anybody's interested, or if you know somebody's interested, we encourage you to apply. We'll start releasing the application early next semester via our social media and via email, etc. We have five groups presenting today. Our first group, we have two individuals, although it's a group of three. I'll let them introduce themselves. They are the mental health advocates. Clap it up for the mental health advocates.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alicia Greco.
And I am Jared Charles. We are the mental health advocates, and our goal is to facilitate mental health support and services to WCC students. When discussing our project, we found that common interest between us was providing students tools to manage stress and anxiety that come from academics and personal lives. By a show of hands, how many of us have been stressed or need help but didn't know where to look? All right. Well, us too. While doing our research, we found that the college's mental health and counseling service already provides a multitude of resources to help students manage challenges, stress, anxiety, and depression. Students were not aware of these resources, which left them feeling helpless, stressed by themselves. We decided to do something about this.
To confirm our findings, we sent out a survey to students to gauge how aware they are of the resources available and, more importantly, if they knew how to access them. So let's take a look at the responses we got. Okay, so students were asked how aware they are of the resources provided by the Mental Health and Counseling Service Office. As we can see, a large majority said that they are unaware, with only a small 8% of the students who responded considering themselves to be aware. When asked which resources they knew about, an overwhelming majority knew of the ability to make an appointment to speak to someone, but a very small percentage knew of the other various resources available. While speaking to someone is important and it does help, it may take a while and it doesn't provide immediate assistance. This is something we wanted to capitalize on. So why am I telling you this? Well, as you can see, 84% of students who answered the survey said that they have not utilized these resources. And again, 84% said that they don't know how to access these resources if they wanted to or needed to. Now, I don't know about you, but when I get stressed, I start getting even more stressed because I'm stressed, and then it's this overwhelming stress snowball that just keeps on growing. But what if I told you that you could have the ability to work out these feelings literally at the tip of your fingers? Our project involves creating and implementing a button on the MyWCC portal, a site that most students frequently visit. This button will lead students to a page that is hyperlinked to several resources to help them cope with their anxieties, both short and long term. Implementing this button will increase awareness of the existence of these resources and facilitate access to them rather than having students have to navigate the website and look for it themselves. We know that in stressful times, it's hard to have a clear mind, take a step back, assess our feelings, and look for the tools we need to help ourselves. This button will have easy access to whatever resources students may need at that moment, from immediate coping strategies to resources like TAO, a therapy assistance online tool, Togetherall, a support peer community for students to discuss their stressors, or if they'd like, to schedule an appointment to speak to someone. Now, in addition to the existing resources, we also, like I said, wanted to capitalize on immediate support. So we've worked on a few tools that will help with this. First, students will have access to a page that has breathing techniques for anxiety that have different types of techniques so that they will find the one that works best for them. They will also have access to a stress journaling tool that have prompts to encourage them to write and work out these feelings. Research has shown that writing down your feelings helps you understand them better, prioritize your concerns, gain control of your emotions, and just in general, improve your mental health. With this tool, we want to encourage students and provide them with the opportunity to reap the benefits that I have just shared with you. So now, my partner will show you what our button would look like.
So this is what the button is. It will take users to the main page that has hyperlinks to specify resources such as breathing techniques with step-by-step guide, and the 333 strategy for anxiety, also with step-by-step guide and a stress journaling tool and prompts. It will also link them to resources like TAL and Togetherall, and the self-help resources page where they can find more specific resources they may need. At the bottom, they can click right here and it will bring them directly to the page to schedule an appointment with someone if they need further help.
Okay, so how are we accomplishing this goal? Well, first, we assessed the need for it, which, as we saw with the survey, we found to be quite evident. Then, we've worked closely with Mrs. Marmolejos, who is a licensed mental health professional here on campus. With her help, we've created the pages you've just seen with the said resources. Our aim is to make it as accessible as possible without overwhelming students with information overload. We have reached out to Mr. Mark Stoller from the marketing department, and with his help and the help of others, we intend to bring this idea to fruition. And look, there's a perfect spot for it already. So, just saying. We understand the difficulties that come with balancing academic and personal lives, and we want to help our student community to manage these anxieties while highlighting the existing resources and making them more accessible while adding our own touches for immediate assistance. Thank you very much. Questions?
Over there.
So as my partner Jared shared a little in the beginning, when we were doing our idea map, we found that a common interest of ours was to help students with stress, especially at this time of the year. I don't know about you guys, but I have been crazy stressed. And this is something we were really interested in doing. And like we said, the campus already provides many amazing resources to help students manage these anxieties, but not many of us know about them or know where to look for them. So we really wanted to do something that would highlight these, make them more aware to students so that they can help themselves when needed. So yeah.
But specifically, there was the thought bubble one Carlos brought up, where we had an idea in the middle, and we kept going to bubble, adding ideas of what's coming off the top of our head. Over there.
Designs for the button itself.
That is still a work in progress, which we will work on with the marketing team. As you can see, I mean, bear with me, guys. The stress less. I am not artistic. We've tried our best, but like we said, with the help of the amazing team at the marketing department, we hope to get that squared up. So,
They'll be red.
any yes, Brendan?
So with the WCC website, I've had some issues trying to access some of those resources because often hyperlinks will lead to other hyperlinks, which lead to other hyperlinks and never get me to where I need to go. Is that going to be something that's different with the button?
Yes, so we will make sure to work with the marketing departments that there's no issues. Like we said, our main goal is to make it as easy as possible for students, especially when you're stressed out. We don't want to further stress you out when you're trying to find something that's supposed to be easy and then it's taking you multiple places that you don't want it to. So we will test it out and make sure that it's ready to go.
Job will it be to update the button and the links to the most current information?
So, like I said, we've been working with Mrs. Marmolejo. She's a part of the Mental Health and Counseling Service Office. So, as we graduate and move on, we will work with her to make sure that things get updated, as well as with the marketing team. They will be working together. Any more questions? No? Well, thank you for your time.
Keep it going from mental health advocates. So one way that you can help them is by providing feedback. Their final day in the program is on Tuesday, and we have a handy dandy QR code here that will take you to a feedback form. It's just a few questions, takes a couple seconds, but we'll do on Tuesday during their closing ceremony is we'll discuss how to interpret feedback, how to utilize feedback, and how to incorporate feedback into their project vision. Again, you're listening to projects here through the program Commit to Change for the spring 2024 cohort. And each one of these are project ideas for improvements here at the college. So I encourage everyone that wasn't presenting to take a moment, scan the QR code, and go ahead and provide some feedback for them so they can interpret on Tuesday. I'll give you a few moments to do that. The Mental Health Advocates. The Mental Health Advocates is the team you just heard. So I'll give you a couple moments in awkward silence. Awkward because I'm saying it's awkward for you to complete the form. I could, but I'm not. Although my daughter seems to like me singing, so I don't know. We'll try that one day. Give you another couple moments to complete the form. Again, the name of the group is the Mental Health Advocates. Next group, transferable, if you'd like to make your way over to the computer and start getting your presentation ready. We did something. we did something different this year. Normally we don't allow it, but this year there were four different groups that wanted to merge because they realized they had very similar ideas, and the ideas were so similar that it just kind of made sense. And so this group and another group coming up later on is groups that have merged together on usually Commit to Change groups are about 2 to 3 students, but this group is about 5, 6 members of your group? Yeah, okay. So take another moment or two, wrap up your feedback form. Thank you so much for taking the time to provide that feedback.
Oi? What's one What's one word that comes
Bang. Oh.
So remember, the minute you start speaking is when I start the timer, okay? The moment you start speaking. Stand over here. Oh, I got the clicker.
But I have to click this to.
Clap it up for group number 2, Transferable, everybody.
Please, please hold the applause. Hold the applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So when Juan Carlos first came to us asking us to change the school, we told him you came to the right people. The first thing we thought of was helping the transfer process since it affects so many people and it can help the reputation of the school. So some of my teammates met with Robin Grav, who's in charge of transfer services here, and they found out there's actually a lot of resources available for students here. So we thought, dang, guess we'll move on to the next thing. But before we chalked up the idea, we thought, why not ask some students how they feel about the transfer process here before we chalk it up?
to mind when you think about the transfer process? What's one word that comes to mind when you think about the transfer process?
Unknown.
Disconnected.
Complex. Stressful. Very stressful.
Do you know about the school resources for transfer students?
No.
No, not really.
I do not.
No, I just need to know that there were any.
Do you think the school markets its resources well?
Unfortunately, I don't. Not at all. I have no idea where the transfer services is. I think it's upstairs, but I don't know anyone who works there. And I know no additional information. I actually did my transfer by myself.
No, I mean I've seen workshops for it, but but yeah, I don't really know much about it.
I don't really have information on what opportunities there are.
I think that they could do a better job. I think that they have resources, but if you don't know about them and you don't know to look for them, then you don't see them. So, yeah.
I feel like there's not a lot of communication with the transfer services, so I did do my transfer process a lot on my own, and while I actually did try to reach out to transfer services, it felt like they weren't able to answer the questions that I had, and they were telling me to talk to the school that I was planning on transferring to, so it just seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication and disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
I would say though that I wish there was something to help me know what types of essays and stuff I should be writing to transfer. Advice on selecting a school based on my grades and stuff like that. I wish there was that kind of help available.
So clearly from the voices of our fellow students here, there's a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for growth, a lot of room for change. Presenting our Commit to Change project, we have Agatha, Juliana, Jennifer, Lucia, Patrick, and yours truly, Santiago, with our Commit to Change idea, Transferable, a play on words for helping students being able to transfer. Juliana, take it away.
All right. So I'm Juliana, and I'm going to talk about the transfer resources already available at school. Student support service. they can help students with financial difficulties to pay some fees during the transfer process. We have the transfer counselors. They are available to answer any question you might have regarding the transfer process and how the application should be made. We have the Admissions Angle Transfer Scholar Program. Is an independent college consented group that mentors students directly in their adulting college admissions journeys. We have the alumni transfer workshops. There are basically former students who were successful in their transfer process hold workshops to teach more about their experience both at WCC and their current colleges. We have school transfer agreements that they facilitate a smooth transfer process to ensure the graduates of this college will be guaranteed seamless transfer with junior status. We have mock interview days that is basically a program that helps with interviews in general, but can be used as a simulation of how transfer interview is carried out. And the last one is the tutor center, and they basically help to improve your essays that you need to. Sorry. Okay. They basically can help and advise the students looking to improve their transfer essays.
I think so. Hello. Oh, hello. I'm Lukia, and only 40% of students know about the transfer services. Over half of WCC's continuing students are somewhat not at all familiar with our school's transfer services.
Yeah, so we're planning to have a workshop day, and in this workshop, we're gonna discuss the resources available here at school for the students who are planning to transfer to a four-year school. And we're gonna talk about the school options and the application deadlines. And to make sure the students have all the information they need by the deadline, we're gonna have this workshop happen during the third week of the semester, so they can gather all the documents and decide which schools they want to apply on time. And to get everyone to know about it, we're going to mark it. We're going to email all the students. We're also going to add it to the Get Involved app. Also club fairs, and also obviously ask students to promote to their friends and then get everyone to come and listen to what we're going to say.
But we still have some issues. Some schools have specific requirements like supplement essays or additional questions that students aren't really familiar with. Students also like procrastinating and waiting till last minute to submit some of their applications, and they end up having a lot of questions that they don't really have answers to and have only a short amount of time to figure out those answers. Some students have some unforeseen events like wanting to change their majors or adding another school to their list of schools that they're applying to, and they don't really know what to do. So we have a solution to fix this.
And so we have this idea of transfer day. To complement the workshop day, we have a transfer day for students who like to procrastinate. I know we have a lot of procrastinators in here, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can tell based on our outfits which one of us is the procrastinator. And so it would be a day, ideally before the first transfer deadline, 3 days, a week, whatever it be. And we use 3 key means to achieve the end of supporting the student. So at Commit to Change, we love acronyms. Commit to Change, C2C. So we came up with our own acronym, P2P, peer-to-peer support, which uses alumni who have transferred already. They come back and provide guidance to students who are going to transfer because they've been through that process. They know what is required of them, what they have to do, the logistics of it. Also, like mentioned before, we're going to invite some of the writing tutors for inspiration because some of us haven't started the prompts yet, and we have 300 words to write for one application, another 300, 250, and it stacks up. So the inspiration really goes a long way. The second component that we're going to utilize is staff mentorship. So like mentioned in the video, we have transfer counselors. at the school who can help in this process. The problem is that it's not marketed. Students don't know how to go out of their way to reach these transfer counselors. And so we'll invite them to the transfer day for last minute advice and clarify minute questions. When I was going through the transfer process, there were a couple questions that I had no idea how to answer. It was very specific questions that I didn't know if it would make a difference to my application or if it didn't matter at all, and that would be perfect for a transfer day. Also, relief for application fees, which is going to be mentioned on the next slide. Application fees are a huge deal when transferring, $70, $75 per college. So we have the resources to help some of the students relieve those fees, and so we're going to invite them to the transfer day to help students. And the final component is an inviting atmosphere. So a student always wants to be welcome. They want this sense of belonging on campus, and that's what faculty look for when they invite students here. And that's going to be a main component of this transfer day, this sense of belonging, safe and understanding environment. Students have gone through the transfer process and understand what's required of them, food and beverages, and stress relievers handed out. So that would be stress balls or fidget toys.
So the steps we need to take still. Luckily, the school makes it. Oh, got it. Thank you. The school makes it really easy for us to secure a room for the day. So all of you graduating next year, transferring next year, you will have a room. Come to us, you will have a room to go to. So the important steps we need to take here is securing the staff for the workshop and the transfer day. We've already reached out to the tutoring center, and they're getting back to us about how we can get some of the essay tutors to come in. Based on the email list we'll have from the first workshop day, we'll be reaching out to past students. If any of you guys graduating want to come in and help us with this, feel free to do that. I myself will be coming in to help with this. We want to have students that come in and people that know more about FAFSA and about how we can help students pay for the transfer process. So they'll be there. And of course, the transfer staff. Hopefully we'll have Robin there and people like her helping. The second step we wanted to take was ensuring longevity. 3 of us here will be graduating this semester, so we'll have 3 more, making sure that next year this Commit to Change project is a success. But after they graduate, we want to ensure that this keeps going on. So we already talked to Lotus, our current president, and we plan on partnering with SGA, possibly making a reform. And what a reform would do is that it would ensure that the SGA has to do this either every semester or every year because it will be added to their constitution. So this will ensure the longevity of this project and help students far into the future, way past I'm gone and super successful and all that. And the final steps is make adjustments as the semesters go on. We'll see if the dates are correct to help students get there. Maybe we have to change the dates. Maybe we have to add more events, more transfer days, who knows. And of course, we'll change the marketing strategy around. If not enough students are coming, we'll maybe add more food to the things or add more flyers. I don't know. We'll change the marketing strategy as we see fit.
Thank you guys for listening to our presentation.
Feel free to get involved, help us out. Email this fantastic individual here who put his phone number and email down, network with them, and if you're free to come in next semester to help out with the workshop days, please reach out. Thank you. Questions? Questions? Anybody? Yes.
Volunteer.
Are we planning alumni to come back and volunteer? We're going to email them and beg, please, 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 please come back. We need help with this project. Essentially, we're just going to email a bunch of people that we know are nearby still, and hope for the best. Unless you can reach out and maybe give me advice on how we can better reach out to students.
So alumni, they are very passionate about where they came from, and especially WCC, so I don't see any problem. Especially for us, we're alumni. We will be alumni next year. So we will come back, and alumni will be very passionate to come back and help out with this transfer day. Yes.
The only problem I see with coming back is the date that you do it, and also if for students who are transferring to bigger schools that are much further out, it'll take us a very long time to get here. So are there any incentives incentives via that, like maybe a gas card. I'll take
Huh. Well, if we're partnering with SGA, maybe we can get some funds to, I'm just putting this out there, I don't want Lotus to walk my back. Santi, you told them that we're gonna pay for gas, but perhaps we can fund some students to come back and fund this event with SGA. That's a good idea, thank you. Yes?
Would there be a virtual option for any of these events so that people can join virtually?
We could work on it, yeah.
Yeah, the workshop days should have a virtual event.
Guys, we can
Any more
change
questions?
this as you see fit.
Yeah,
Giving us ideas here, feed us. Another one.
Is there a designated person who reaches out to alumni? Or do we have like an alumni school or college or something? I only ask because I know at SUNY Albany, we had like an alumni college, which is where all the alumni would come and they would send them out emails. So is there a designated person who works with alumni?
No.
I'm curious to know if you asked that question.
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is.
And we will reach out to them.
What's
Huh?
the name?
The
Alumni Foundation, that's the name. So that's what we're gonna.
You didn't know that? Come on.
Okay, because that would be perfect, because then it'll be their job to reach out to us. Because I was just curious if I would be getting emails from that email for the rest of my life.
Well, what group are you? You want to join our group, by the way? Just. Any more questions? Well, thank you all very much for listening.
Thank
Keep
you.
it going
And
for
thank you the questions.
transferable. Hopefully you still have that link to the form on your phone, and if not, I have it available for you here to take a few moments. Thank you, thank you, thank you, transferable. Take a few moments to complete a form for transferable. Next up, we have Clean Up Campus. Clean Up Campus, if you'd like to make your way up and plug in and get yourself ready. So while we wait for Clean Up Campus to pull up their materials, again, please take a couple moments to fill out feedback to help transferable learn and improve their project idea, their project vision. Right, so we're shifting into our next presenter, Clean Up Campus, and try to remain in this area over here, okay? Clap it up for Clean Up Campus. There you go. Not your.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hillary Rodriguez, and this is my Commit to Change project, Clean Up Campus. As you can see, there's a beautiful geese here on the front page because, as we all know, this is the geese's home, not ours. And we might have to play hopscotch getting to the building we need to go to avoid their waste. So my project is, well, let's take a scenario here. Meet Bob. This is Bob the geese. Bob and his family currently terrorize the students and faculty on campus. Recently, a faculty member was attacked while on her way to her class. This is something that actually happens. The geese, right now especially, are very aggressive. So in addition, these animals excrete all over the campus greens and the sidewalks. This is not okay. So what's our purpose? Our goal is to create a volunteer program within DSI where students can clean up and utilize the geese waste to plant native plants. So this is going to provide volunteer opportunities. This is going to be a volunteer opportunity within DSI that's a leadership development program. So you will get a certificate for completing it similar to the Commit to Change program. It's also going to promote sustainability. So this provides an option for students to participate and learn about sustainability practices all year round. It also is going to create a clean and beautiful campus. A clean and beautiful campus is safer for students and visitors and faculty. It also makes it beautiful for any people who want to donate money to the school, any investors, alumni who come back. They want to see our campus thriving, and a clean sidewalk, clean grounds really shows off that we are beautiful and that we take care of ourselves. It's also going to build a stronger community. This provides students to come together and become involved on campus, really working hard to make the campus the place they want to be. You know, no one wants to walk around poop all the time. So it's going to foster students to be able to gather in the green areas. People are going to be able to actually put down picnic blankets and walk on the lawn without having to tiptoe around everything. So it's going to foster a more lively campus. So how is this going to work? So first, we're going to need WCC students to volunteer to participate in the Clean Up Campus program within DSI. A student will be hired through work study to lead the group and will be trained on how to collect and manage geese waste. The waste will be stored to be composted and then will be converted into fertilizer through a drying method. Small trees and native plants will then be planted using the fertilizer. And the geese will repopulate to this more vegetated area, which will reduce the human-geese conflicts. We hope to use the DSI funding to provide tools and resources such as scoopers, storage bags, etc., for the students and the volunteers to work with. We'd also need funding to purchase the small plants and trees that we're going to be planting around campus, refreshments for each training session, water, snacks, that sort of thing. We also need funding for the completion certificates for the volunteers. The compensation for the team lead student, this will be a work study student, so it's going to be covered federally. And any other resources the trainer requires that is going to be determined when we have a full plan. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
To create a new position for federal work study, and is it possible to have, instead of volunteers and just the team lead be paid, to have everyone be part of that federal work study?
So we do plan on having a work study student be paid because they're going to oversee the program and also be the most trained. If we did choose to have everybody included be a work study program, it'd be a more intensive program. So rather than a student who maybe just wants to volunteer once or twice a month, if it's a federal work study position, it's a bigger commitment. And I think that provides a barrier for some of the students. So that's why we're limiting the paid positions to be people who could be participating full time and have this actually be their job. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Have you considered like safety training or safety equipment for the violent geese?
Absolutely. So the training is going to be with the Native Plant Center. So they're aware of like the ecological systems on campus. So they're going to be able to train the volunteer students on how to properly navigate the campus, how to properly collect the waste. All the training will be done by the Native Plant Center for the work study students. And then the work study students will then train the volunteers as they come and go. All right.
Is there anything in the initiative to be done to maybe curb the aggressiveness of the geese?
I think that the only thing to curb the aggression is to just relocate them, because they do tend to hang out in really populated areas on campus. There's nothing that's going to change their mating patterns. They are aggressive right now. I think that's just how it's going to be. The best that we can do for the safety of students and faculty is to have an area for the geese that's not our sidewalks and our lawns. So with this, with the planting of the native plants and trees, we hope to plant some on the outskirts of the campus, and the geese will repopulate to these more vegetated areas that have more cover. They provide food and nesting as well. Oh, yes?
I think there's more head-on approaches to get rid of the geese.
So there is already a solution for that, I think it's like the government that controls the geese population if it gets a little bit too out of hand. It's a kind of a weird practice. I'm pretty sure they do control the population though, if it gets too high, and then they donate the meat to people in need. Yes. Yeah.
Right. So you said that once you guys get the fertilization going and start planting the plants, that should draw them to one area.
Yes.
Is that like scientific thing?
Yes. So if the geese are in certain populations because of like the lake and also this little pond right there, because it provides some sort of shelter, netting, nesting, and like things like that. And because our campus is kind of scarce, we just have lawn, green grass everywhere. The geese just roam around. But if we do have a dedicated area filled with vegetation for the geese, they will repopulate to that area. Eventually, it will take time because they're ingrained in this kind of like rhythm, but over time it will. Thank you. Yeah?
Just wanted to point out, when you did your presentation before, I was literally telling Tamika about it, and a goose was chasing us. Like I was telling, like he heard me while I was telling her the story about what you wanted to do, and we had to like run around, like we were running. So I just wanted to add that. That was a few weeks ago. But I guess my question, and another work study was with me. So my question would be, who would actually be supervising the work study person or the head person?
That will be with the Department of Student Involvement, because it's going to be a program within Department of Student Involvement, similar to the Commit to Change program, like a volunteer leadership development program. Any other questions? Oh, yeah.
Sorry for all the questions. I have a statement and a question. The statement is, it is important to notice that geese are protected under federal law. So it is actually illegal to kill geese because they're an integral part of our ecosystem. With that being said, do you have to work with either state or government law to change their nesting patterns and, all those other things?
The geese migrate naturally. That's why they kind of switch between our WCC campus and also the neighboring cemetery. They kind of just migrate to both of them. So really changing their pattern from like 200 feet to more like the outskirts of campus is not going to harm their natural rhythm or the biodiversity of this land. Yes?
A question and a comment. So I totally agree with that something should be done with the geese. Like right now, I'm taking a class, and my professor has a whole lab dedicated to geese because she was attacked by them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then my question is, you talked about like building a nesting place for them to like relocate them and stuff like that. Would that funding also come from DSI or?
Yeah, so the funding will come in the actual seeds for the plants, and the volunteers will be planting them themselves using the fertilizer from the cleanup activities. So this is something that will take a while to happen because first the fertilizer and the waste needs to be collected, and then it needs to be dried and turned into compost and fertilizer. And then the planting, of course, is going to take a while for that to grow. So that's why this needs to happen now so that it can happen in 10 years. Yeah, right?
Your marketing plan for students to pick up goose poop?
So we hope that through things like the Get Involved app, DSI, things like that, the ways that are already existing on campus, we plan to utilize them. We don't really have any new ideas for marketing that are not already in place. We just plan to utilize those. Yeah.
Putting an idea out there. Why don't we just add pressure wash little machines alongside of the road, our paths, so that maybe like at night, in the middle of the night, they could be coded to go off and then just clean the paths for the morning.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think that, yeah, that is a good idea for cleaning the campus. The idea behind collecting it is really to turn it into the fertilizer, and that kind of promotes this sustainability aspect and provides that sort of like education for people to understand what sustainability is, what recycling is, and composting, planting, being able to grow things with your own two hands, I think is a valuable experience for a lot of students who may not have access to. In urban areas, people don't really have gardens. Maybe planting something here on campus could fill that within themselves. Thank you.
Clap it up for Clean Up Campus. Oh, maybe sign up first. Yeah. So I'll pull up the form in a moment while Clean Up Campus signs out. But if you have it open already on your phone, please go ahead and provide some feedback so that they can approve their project. What was that? Clean Up Campus is the name of the group. Clean Up Campus. Take a few moments to go ahead and complete a feedback form there for Clean Up Campus is the name of the group. And then next up we have Westchester, Where Am I? Westchester, Where Am I? If you'd like to make your way up to the podium so you can plug in or look up your presentation. Clean Up Campus. Next up, Westchester, Where Am I? All right, next up we have Westchester, Where Am I? This is another two groups that merged into one. Clap it up for Westchester, Where Am I?
Hi, we're Westchester. Where am I? I'm Amanda, and my group members are Ray, Daniel, Kamasia, Emily, and Isabel. So when we first started this project, it was an idea for like a campus map and figuring out where you actually are geographically on campus, because I don't know the last time any of you have seen the map, but it's very minimal and sparse. And then it kind of morphed into this kind of metaphorical, where is my place on campus? And just trying to find, who you are on campus, who your peers are, and just trying to find an identity within campus, and also knowing where all of our services and resources are. So I'm going to make a little shift and talk about the social determinants of learning. So probably all of you are aware higher education requires more than just academically preparing students. Students need to be economically stable. They need to be able to have social connectedness. They need to worry about their physical and mental health. And the good news is WCC offers a lot of those opportunities and resources for students to really come into their own and make sure that they have all of the things they need to be prosperous in their life. And as a lot of the groups I've already identified, there is like a lack of awareness of just like what WCC offers. And so our solution is to meet students where they are, which is on their phones. And so we propose a comprehensive app that allows students to engage with others, their faculty, other students, learn where things are on campus, learn about the resources available in a way that is understandable to them. Most people on campus have been using technology for their entire lives, and so it needs to be updated. It needs to be something that we're all used to.
So right now, the current app has a lot of issues. It's very poorly advertised. A lot of people on campus don't actually know about it. A lot of the buttons on the app, they don't actually bring you to a new page on the app. They'll open your browser and bring you to a link there. And it just has a lot of like technical issues that kind of lead to students struggling with it. So a lot of students experience issues logging into the app. And the mental health sign-in does not work. If you click on it or tap on it, it leads you to an Error 404 page. The app also shows links for the Orientation Leader program and the Black Excellence program, but the deadline for signing up for both has already passed. The app also shows a college calendar, which to me that implies an academic calendar, but on the app it actually shows an events calendar, which it's useful, but it's not what I was expecting. And if you click on Get Involved on the app, you'll scroll down, there's a handful of buttons on them. So the buttons for the multicultural program, civic engagement, and orientation don't actually work. They won't lead you anywhere.
Sorry. So as previously mentioned, Get Involved is the current app at WCC. And as already said, it's challenging to use and understand, which intimidates students from using it and its features. Many students need the app for quick resources, like finding directions to a building on campus. With the current app, this proves to be an impossible task for the most part, and students don't really have the time to sit and like try to find where they can even get to the map to find a location. So it's become easier for students to just ask around rather than look at the app, which defeats the whole purpose of the app. So our group wants to create an app that is accessible to all individuals coming to this campus and that is efficient, easy to use, and interactive. We want the app to become a source of comfort for new students entering the campus who are often concerned about finding their classes. I'm sure most of you can relate to that when you first came to campus. And it also will help current students to keep up to date with events and other things happening on campus that they may be interested in knowing about.
So we would like to do this in about 4 different ways. So one, the in-app club profiles. The clubs on campus and organizations on campus would be able to put their events and meeting times directly into the app, so therefore students could then find out where their club is meeting, when they are meeting, and then see all the different clubs that are happening on campus to be able to participate more and get involved more. Second is the customizable calendar. We really want to have a calendar that not only encompasses the activities going on campus, but also that students could put their own events and their own classes into it so they could see what events they could go to, what events they're busy for, so on and so forth. The third one is an interactive map. We would really like to have a Google Maps type feature on the app so that way students could see exactly where they need to go to get to other buildings on campus, but then also within each individual building be able to see the floor map of each floor to know where the bathrooms are, to know where the nurse's office is, to know where the defibrillators are, fire extinguishers, fire alarms, these such things, but also in order to be able to see which bathrooms have period products, because only certain bathrooms on campus have those. And then fourth would be a user tutorial. As of right now, there's no user tutorial on the app, and so students going into the app would just have to use their intuitive knowledge, and that's not quite there for every single person that is a student here on campus, as we are a community college, and a lot of people come back to school here and did not grow up using technology, so they wouldn't necessarily know how to use it without a tutorial.
Okay, so my name is Izzy. So this is our step-by-step success plan. So the first plan is to reconnect with DSI and SGA. That's a pretty typical plan. Number 2, secure funding. Obviously, with technologies, it's a very rapid pace. I'm not a coder. I can't code a whole app. So of course that we need funding from our resources. 3 is to set up a final upgrades and prices with the mobile app. We're not specifically sure yet how we're gonna deal with prices. Hopefully we get enough funding for it to actually be a free app, but we're not sure. 4 is to release the new app, obviously. And then 5 is to spread the word to WCC community because we want it to be have easy access for everybody, and yeah.
Hello. Hi. So there's a lot of resources need. I'm Kamasia, by the way. So we are hoping that we can implement a potential work study student to really make sure that the app is up and running, and that the different clubs and DSI student involvement would talk to this potential student who would know exactly how the app runs, and they would be in charge of updating and manning it, which just allows the Westchester Community College to really be involved with the app. Now, I know you see that price right there. It's a little, it's a little out there. So apps are expensive, but as WCC students, we are actually extremely behind. If you go to most 4 years, they have apps implemented exactly like this, which ensure that the students are actually involved on campus. So because we are so behind, this $3,000 to $5,000 is really for our future. It is an investment in our future. And lastly, the student, faculty, and staff feedback. So we're currently on the app, there's no way for you to give feedback. Actually, when we talked to Candace, she said that no one ever complained about the app, and she had no idea that the app was an actual problem to begin with. So we want to make sure that your voices are heard when we're talking about the app, because as of right now, going around, not a lot of people actually use it, know how to use it, or just care enough to try. So we are Westchester, where am I? And thank you so much.
Any questions? Yeah.
Is it possible that you could use the Get Involved app that's already created and build off of that instead of creating something entirely new? It could help with the cost and bring that price down.
One of us can answer. Yeah, so that is definitely, if funding doesn't get approved, that is definitely possible because we already have the subscription to that service, which was mobile up. And that is possible, but we would lose a lot of features. They're not capable of having an interactive map at all. They're not capable of any interpersonal communication. And they, as Daniel was saying, it's like web browser pages. So when you use the app, it takes you to the web. So it's not, it's like, what's the point of having an app? So it can be done and it can definitely be improved, but it won't be the 21st century app that we all know.
It's also important to state it might be more money to redo our existing app than just starting over.
Any other questions? Yes.
Who's creating the new app?
So the services that we have, there are a couple of options. My personal favorite is called Campus M. And basically, we could just say, I want this, 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 and they'll make it for you. So you don't have, none of us here have to be coders.
No.
That's part of the service, yeah.
It is important to state that every single one of your commit to change things would be better with our app.
That's true. We would be able to implement every single thing within the app, so that way people would actually know about your projects.
And my button now support it.
Any other questions?
Phasing out the original Get Involved app and like replacing it, or do you imagine that these two apps will sort of coexist?
It wouldn't need phasing out. No one uses it.
Just one sec, sorry. Also, to your point, we do have another app called Pulse where you can see your Brightspace grades. If we were to get a new service, we can integrate Brightspace onto the app. You wouldn't be able to like submit assignments, but you can check your attendance. You can look at your grades, look at announcements and stuff like that, all within one app. So we'd be able to phase out two apps that we already have.
I haven't been here in 10 years, so when I came back, they was like, download the app. That app that you said nobody uses. So then me and my sister, we use it. So last night, there was an event supposed to be here. It was supposed to be night breakfast at 8 o'clock at night. And so I came, but nobody was here. And I was like, you know what? It's okay. We brought our kids, too. I was like...
Yeah, it's important to say that the app is currently run by DSI, and it's not a snub to DSI at all. It is a lot to handle updating the app. I believe Candace runs it, but Candace runs everything else. So that's why we wanted to implement a work study student to actually that would be their job. And when things change last minute, it's actually quite a hassle to update the app.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're going for Westchester, where am I? Or not, yeah. Yeah, is he? All right, so I'm gonna bring back the QR code here. Take a few moments to scan that QR code. We only have one more group left. Thank you to those of you that are sticking around. Thank you to those of you that have logged in to YouTube Live here at SUNY Westchester Community College. We appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to provide feedback. Again, they will be reviewing their feedback on Tuesday with the intention of learning how to receive feedback, how to utilize feedback, how to incorporate feedback, how to improve upon their project. And also learn a couple things about their presentation and some things that they may have missed or they can gain from you as you provide feedback. So take a couple moments to provide that as some folks get some chips and some snacks. Those of you on YouTube Live, hopefully you have some chips and some snacks somewhere. Go get them right now is the time. We're going to pause another moment and we'll have the final group. Last group, if you would like to make your way up so you can get started getting your presentation going. Last group's name is How Do I? You just heard from Westchester, Where Am I? You just heard from Westchester, Where Am I? That's the group you just heard. The next group is going to be How Do I? Okay, we have our final group of the day, final commit to change group. They are How Do I? Clap it up for How Do I, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon,
And my name is Prableen.
and we are How Do I? One second. Yeah. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay. So, how do I? This is the problem that we will be. Thank you. This is the problem that we are tackling. We're in the middle of finals week, right? Oh, sorry. Is this better? Okay, finals week. Very scary, right? I'm about to mention something that's even scarier, okay? Are you ready? Tax season. Ooh. Ooh, right? Right? Scary stuff, okay? We're getting serious here. So, oh, sorry, not used to this. Okay, so finals week, right? It's all about tests. Have you guys ever heard the typical thing a professor might say, study for the test? Anyone ever hear that? I've heard that a lot throughout my academic career, a lot. But what about the most important test of all? Life, right? Yes. Life. Life is just a series of tests. A series of tests that you may or may not fail at, right? You may undercook a chicken and get food poisoning like some individual in this room, right? You may, not know how to swim and have to stay in the kiddie area, right? You may do your taxes wrong and now the IRS is hunting you, okay? All hypothetical, of course, but questions and scenarios that are important to think about, right? In all of our academic career, we're told to learn for the test. Learn for the test, but honestly, academics puts too much pressure on students to learn all of this knowledge that is only going to be utilized on the test. But like I said, we need to know the most important test of all, life. So that's what How Do I focuses on. Let's get this. Okay.
How Do I is a club. Forgot to introduce myself. My name is Prableen. How Do I is a club that we created, which is very simple. Basically, we ask people to volunteer and teach their experiences, because everybody learns from each other, and they learn best when people can connect through shared experiences. And we will be there are resources on campus that we can ask volunteers to come in and help us out, such as the Virginia Marks Children's Center. There's some listed down there. And basically what we would be asking is basically what you guys would be doing. Please come help us and teach people their experiences and life skills.
Yeah, so How Do I would realistically be a club that teaches a whole, various topics centered around, swimming, cooking, taxes, financial literacy, how to be a parent. Right now, there are some resources for these, such as for financial literacy, there's the Money Smart program, but there's not a lot of people that know about that. They're only advertised through email, as I'm aware. There are resources for parents to learn at the Children's Mark Center through personal counseling, but that, as I'm aware, isn't advertised much either. So our goal with How Do I is to kind of make a club that encompasses all of these different topics and incorporate it into various lessons throughout the semester. And this would be a semester-long process where every week, every 2 weeks, we're learning a different topic, reaching out to professors, resources from these locations to help us with that. Because while we may not have the skill set necessary to teach it ourselves, there's definitely people on campus that do. For us, for me specifically, I would be teaching how to swim. I'm a swim instructor, so I'd be working closely with the aquatics department to try to get something up or something set up in terms of swimming, or teaching people how to swim, because that's an important skill, and you don't learn that here at school unless you're enrolled in some course for it and paying for it. And we don't want students to have to pay to learn these things. Prableen focuses on financial literacy. So a lot of these lessons would be free for all members of this club. If we continue, so like I just mentioned, this is our main focus. Making a club makes that sense of community. It brings people together. We're focusing on these practical life skills that are not taught in the class, right? Financial literacy, taxes, parenting, that's a big one. No one ever thinks about that, but you have to learn how to be a good parent, right? We're not born just knowing how to parent, right? If any of you have pets, you'll know this, because it's kind of like taking care of a baby in a way. It's tough, right? Parenting, swimming, and cooking.
How would we be advertising? So we would do flyers. We would definitely, the word would get around from people to people. And we, like we mentioned before, we don't have a set schedule yet, but what our vision is that we would be doing one topic throughout the entire week. Each week would be one topic, so that, and it'd be at different times, so people don't have a set schedule, so they would be able to come when it's convenient for them. We would establish a meeting room, and also we would, we were advised that to make this into a club, that way we get the funding, we'd have more communication, and yeah. Some of the things that we would be covering is meal prep, because I think that's very important. People, when I first came to college, I did not, some days I would not eat till I got home. And that was like, people have long days, you know? And financial literacy, like we mentioned earlier, people need to know how to best use their money, because the money should work for you, not you should work for the money. And parental guiding, that's also very important, like Brandon mentioned earlier. How to budget and live, how to live on a budget. That's also very good, how to use, again, financial. And yeah, and swimming. I don't know how to swim, so that's why that was a big thing. Definitely should learn, definitely needed life skill to survive.
Yes, and the meeting room, although we haven't determined yet, it might not be the same every session. Obviously, you're not going to learn how to swim in a classroom, right? We're going to have to be at the pool for that. You're not going to learn how to cook in a classroom. We're going to need to be at the kitchen for that. That secondary objective of ours of how do I, yes, we're mainly focusing on teaching these skills, but we also want to build that sense of community. And definitely having these fun new environments to learn is definitely going to help create that. Like Prableen mentioned, funding is a big thing. Learning these things is not cheap. Go to any, I would know, go to any swim instructor or tax assistant, anything. It costs money, and you're already paying enough to be a student here at WCC. So why not have a club teaching you that for free with college funds? So that's our vision for How Do I, and thank you very much for listening.
Questions?
You already have you want to teach. You said that you want to teach something per week, so what other topics do you have in mind to teach people?
That is a good question. We are working on it. What we base this list off of is the group members that already have these skills and the things that we're aware of on campus. So we will definitely, as our group grows bigger, everybody has something to bring to the table. So I'd say as we get more volunteers, more people involved, our list will get longer and we would add more activities per week, yeah.
Besides advertising on our brand new WCC app, have you considered working with professors to have extra credit opportunities as an incentive for students to go?
Oh, no, we have not considered that at all, but that's actually a really good idea that we'll definitely talk about. We've talked about working with professors and with faculty members of various resources, but we haven't thought about making it into like some sort of credit thing. It doesn't need to be, because I think you get enough value out of the club just learning what you do learn for being there, but definitely credits would be a great incentive, so thank you for that.
Have you guys considered a CPR course and basic first aid as a thing to teach?
Yeah, so we have CPR courses on campus, that teach you these skills. But like I mentioned earlier, all of these you have to pay for. You need to pay for the credits to be in these courses. So that's definitely one of the topics that we discussed having there. That's obviously a bit more intensive and a bit more, definitely needs someone with qualifications and certifications to be there. But that's someone we'd reach out to via our resources. So that's definitely a topic that will be covered.
Since you do plan on this being like a student-run club, are you planning on having like student officers create the plans, like create the meal plans or set the schedule? Are you going to be the officers, or do you plan on like outsourcing for that?
So yeah, since it's a club, we need to have officers there. So it would be us for now, although we would have openings for other officer positions if anyone's interested. We don't want this to just be, a one semester thing and it's done. So obviously as the semesters go, as the years go, there will be new officers taking place, but obviously we're not qualified. Like I mentioned, we're not qualified and we don't have the skill set to teach every single thing on the agenda. So it would be the officers, their agenda, their objective to meet with people who do have that skill sets and work closely with them so we, actually deliver the right information to you guys. We don't want to tell you how to, do your taxes and then, you're in jail, a year later. So, yeah, definitely is not just us. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much again to How Do I. I'm going to bring up that QR code one last time. Take a few moments, please, to provide feedback to our last group of Commit to Change presenters. They are How Do I and presented their final idea. And as somebody that has had pets ever since I was a 5-year-old and has had a daughter for 3 years old, it is nothing like having a pet. So much harder. So, right? It's like, you would think, I just got to keep her alive, but there's so much more. So that's just something to know. That's your first How Do I session. How do I raise a child? You don't treat them like a pet. Totally different. Totally different. Because the way I bathe my dog is not how I bathe my daughter. Book me. I've got insurance. I got everything you need. I'll send you the contract. So anyway, again, please complete the final form. Those of you that logged in, thank you so much for logging in. Thank you for coming out today. You have been listening to the Commit to Change presentations for the Spring 2024 cohort. This is a 12-week program where students base their knowledge in what's called the social change model and learn skills and practices, techniques, so that they can bring an idea from the beginning to presentation so that they can move forward a positive change in the world. We encourage students to focus their vision and their ideas for change on the college, here at the college community, so they can move forward and create sustainable, positive impacts for future generations. The first few weeks are focused on students developing as individuals, improving communication skills, becoming more solid in their strengths, their values and ethics, etc. And then they work in groups, learning from each other, learning how to work with each other. And then they start closing out the program by putting together a presentation. So that's what you all are listening to and have been listening to if you logged in earlier. As a reminder for those of you that have been here, in case you forgot, like what is happening, that's what's been happening. You've been hearing presentations from different students groups. We had 5 groups present today, 2 different groups merged. So 4 groups became 2 groups. And there were some students that were missing from the program today. So there were about 4 or 5 students that couldn't make it today. They all had valid reasons. except for one. We're not sure where that one person went. So we hope you're okay, though. Thank you for those of you that came, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.